Hi guys, this is Zoe from the Whisper Tree Rock Your Goddess, and today in this video I was really drawn to talking about empowerment, what it is, and how to recognize whether we're more in our power, so empowered, underpowered, or too overpowering with other people. So first of all, what I mean by being empowered is being balanced in the way we use our inner power, not our bodily strength, but just our inner power. And also the reason behind it, the intent behind the way that we use our power. We can be too much in our power, and so therefore we tend to overpower others. And but we can also be underpowered as well, in that we allow others to be too overpowering with us, so we kind of lose our power, we become what we call disempowered in that process. So neither of those, so being overpowering or underpowered, are obviously balanced ways of being, and I feel that we can kind of flip between all three really. Obviously what we're trying to achieve is to be empowered, and I'm not saying we're always underpowered or always overpowered, but I think in certain situations, depending on how we're feeling, we can kind of go into those more imbalanced ways of being. So let's have a think whether we are more empowered, overpowered, or underpowered. So being empowered is a kind of desired state of being, as much as possible. To be in this state is a great space to be in. More empowered people tend to be the more intuitive ones. They tend to be very self-aware. They have this inner sense of knowing. They have a deep connection with their inner selves. And because they're very self-aware, they're not afraid to look at what I like to call the shadow self. So that's our more negative aspects, which we all have. But it's that ability to be able to look at them and accept them for what they are as well, which leads to a more empowered state of being. These kind of more empowered people tend to speak their truth. They tend to be true to themselves, but the way they speak their truth is not in a kind of listen to me, I'm right, you're wrong kind of way. It's just a calm way of being and speaking, but it's just coming straight from the heart and this place of inner knowing. They use their power, they tend to use their inner power in a more balanced way, and they don't tend to let others overpower them, and they don't tend to be underpowered either. So being overpowered, who are the overpowered people that tend to be more like this? These are people that are too much in their power. It is an imbalance. They use their power for more negative reasons, and it's often driven, or usually driven, through fear and insecurity. And they can display kind of bullying behavior towards others. And underpowered people that tend to be underpowered, I find that when I tend to be like this a little bit, or when I sit in other people, it's often misguided. It comes from a sense of being generous and sharing and giving. But when we're underpowered, it is too much. It's too much. And it's almost like you allow others to take, and you're not open to receiving for yourself. So it's almost like you're giving way too much and forgetting yourself in the process, which is not balanced either way of being. We tend to, or people that are underpowered a lot, tend to surrogate others. So what I mean by this is not allowing them to make their mistakes, and sometimes it can be to extremes, and I see people accepting, not kind of quite discounting behavior towards themselves because they don't want to upset them, and they're trying to tread on eggshells and things like that, and it's not empowered. It's not a balanced way of being. So in order to remain as balanced as possible, excuse me, and then come from a more empowered way of being, You know, our inner power and the way that we are balanced within that, or the extent in which we are balanced within our power, depends on how self-aware we are, you know, how aware we are of our emotional landscape. So what I suggest you do is throughout the day, just keep asking yourself, how am I feeling? How did what so-and-so said to me make me feel? This will in turn allow you to tune in more with your inner emotional landscape. And by identifying your thoughts and feelings, you will create more awareness, and in turn you will be, you know, this will allow for a more empowered way of being, because you'll be very in tune with how you're thinking and feeling at any time. So to identify those thoughts and feelings, because some of us, I feel, are very disconnected from how we're thinking and feeling. So probably a good little simple technique to use in the moment before we ask ourselves how we're thinking and feeling is to just stop and still yourself, stop the business, maybe take yourself somewhere quiet and just take in a couple of nice, long, deep, gradual breaths in and out through your nose. And this will just create that gap between that busyness and your inner self, enough for you to ask the question, how am I feeling? And identify the thoughts that come up. Give them a name, say them out loud. This will just help with that connection to your inner world. And as you see, you'll just start to gain a lot more self-awareness, which in turn will allow you to notice how you are in your power and hopefully gain more of a balance and be more empowered.